If you have been wondering what personal branding really means, why is it more important right now to build an authentic personal brand? How to create that brand? How can you resonate that brand with your audience? What kind of tips should be given by a master coach on personal branding? How to get the right people to listen to you? You're in the right podcast episode because today we're talking not only about trends in personal branding, but how to build that brand through various platforms. Welcome to Luxury Unplugged podcast, where we dive deep into the art of living a successful and luxurious life. From mindset and business to personal growth and entrepreneurship, we have it all. I'm your host, Neeti Keswani, and today we're exploring a topic that is essential for entrepreneurs, consultants, coaches, and the leaders. So, every week we are bringing you incredible stories of successful entrepreneurs and artists, their life full of luxuries, and their spiritual thought process that fuels that accelerated growth. So, get ready to dive deep into the minds of these CEOs. Today, we are featuring Curtis McCoy. He's a serial entrepreneur, an author, and a personal branding expert. He has written amazing books, four of them, and the one that I really love personally is How to Be Successful, Think Like a Leader. Over to you, Curtis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Neeti. I am so glad to be a guest on the Luxury Unplugged podcast. And anyone that's searching, if you're looking to find it, figure out if I'm actually legit or not, M. Curtis McCoy is the name. So if you Google me, if you look on any social media platform, M. Curtis McCoy is where you'll find me.
All right, great. Great to have you, Curtis, on the podcast. And we have so many questions regarding the various aspects that you are dealing with. But to start off, I mean, you do have a very interesting background in terms of your disease that you had faced early on in your life, and then how did you come out of it in terms of the brain tumor and coming out of it and then building up this massive flourishing career. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, so everybody deals with different junk in their life. Diabetics, survived brain cancer, grew up in an abusive household, abusive dad, a lot of that kind of stuff. But we've all got junk that we dealt with or that we're still dealing with. But there's I don't know if you've heard the song, a band out of Europe reached out and they wanted a quote from a motivational, some kind of a motivational personality on social media. So they reached out to me for a quote to write a song around. And, I went in and did the recording for them. And the quote was, losers use their past as an excuse. Winners use it as a reason to become something better. So basically, I try not to focus a whole lot on the junk because my story is not any worse than anybody else's struggles that they're going through right now.
So how has been the turning points for you? How did you start flourishing from the point that, it is difficult because it sort of, brings out that point in your body, in your heart, in your mindset that actually leaves a vacant space, a space, so to say. So how did you come out of it and still manage to pull it off in your career?
So with the way that I got into personal branding was I've built quite a few different successful companies. I built a cosmetic medical laser clinic. I created a pharmaceutical company that was manufacturing bioidentical injectable research peptides. We had a Christian clothing company, owned a cell phone company, a cellular communication company with over 250,000 customers a month hitting our website at the peak of the business. I spoke at Caesar's Palace on this, consulted with the United States Federal Trade Commission on the Sprint T-Mobile merger, a lot of those kind of things. But what I realized later than I should have was you can have the coolest business. You can be, take this, for example, if you built a shopping mall and it was the coolest mall that ever existed, you've got every food place, every restaurant, fast food, luxury restaurants, you've got car dealerships, you've got an amusement park, the coolest shopping mall you can possibly picture. But if you built that in the middle of the desert, nobody can do business with you. If it's in the middle of the desert, no ad, somebody can do business with you. People have to be able to know you and they have to be able to find you to be able to do it, to work with you.
So personal branding isn't about having a sleek business or having an amazing logo. It is something more. What is it? What is your way of teaching personal branding strategy?
So I speak, there's basically two parts of personal branding. The first part is earned media. So there's earned media and paid media. My business is focused around paid media. So that's where I work with people who are already successful, leaders, authors, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, podcast hosts, anybody who's already crushing it in life and business. And I help them to get to the next level by doing the massive paid media, getting hundreds of thousands of viewers per month to watch their show on Amazon Fire TV, watch their episode, or read the article in Newswire magazine, or maybe they see your face on the 96-foot billboard in Times Square, New York. So that's paid media, and that's where you have to invest money. Earned media, you're investing your time. And so I speak at events all over the country because if I can get somebody through, I don't do anything as far as the paid or the earned media goes, where like coaching or consulting or whatever, because my goal is if I can keep providing value, keep helping people to where you build your own personal brand high enough where now you're successful, you're profitable. Now you can hire a guy like me to help expand that brand further. But the start of earned media is just finding a group of people or a specific type of person that you can solve a problem for and solve that problem on an ongoing, basically just ongoing basis. So if you are your business, for example, with Plush Inc., where you're doing content creation and copywriting and stuff, what if you got on every single day, and this is just an example, you're probably already doing this, but if you got on every day and provided some type of value where people can see that you as the copywriter, you're the expert and you're solving a problem for somebody. So maybe you get on Instagram or Facebook every day and you do a live video, or you're writing a blog post, write an article about how to be a better copywriter, how to get your articles to rank, how to build incoming links from third-party sites, maybe talking about tiered link building. But if you're focusing on helping somebody over and over and over again without ever asking for anything, pretty soon they see you as the expert. Now, if I'm too busy to do my own copywriting, when I search for it online, you're the expert that I'm going to hire.
Absolutely. So search engine optimization really, really plays a big role in terms of putting your videos, your articles, your blogs out, and then taking the leads from there, so to say.
Yes, ma'am.
So in terms of, having that authentic personal branding, what do you have to say about that in terms of how to bring that out? Because a lot of people have a lot of value to provide and they are willing to be consistent with it, but to have it in a way that people are able to see it on a regular basis and, connect with your authentic brand. What do you suggest? How to go about that?
I get questions a lot. I speak at events on personal branding. I'm actually keynoting an event, or be keynote speaker at an event here out in Texas in about 2.5 weeks. But I get people all the time. Once I get done speaking, or if I say any questions on this, somebody always raises their hand in the audience and asks about the algorithms or marketing strategies or some kind of a trick to get the algorithm to spread their message. People ask a lot about content creation. How do I get on a regular, make sure I'm posting every single day, twice a day? How do I structure that? How do I create that type of content in bulk? I can't give you an answer on that because it's extremely difficult to try to create content that's not aligned with you. But if you, for example, you being a copywriter, if you're sharing your expertise, something you love, you're passionate about, you're good at it, and it's a service you provide, if you just share how you do that on a daily basis, talking to a specific, your perfect target client, if you're talking to them, solving that problem over and over and over again, then they see you as the expert. That answer your question? Which is that kind of what you're going for there?
In the sense that, yes, I mean, if I'm, so your point is that if I'm putting in the work and I'm showcasing my authentic value in terms of the articles or the blogs on the right channels to the right audience, then I will get my answers and in terms of leads and good business.
Yeah, you get the leads like that. And then also people worry a lot, especially new business owners worry about, let's say, for example, you had a restaurant that was selling chicken. You're selling fried chicken and if you got on, I mean, not that, I don't know if this would work or not, but if you're getting on Instagram every day or getting on Facebook and you're doing a live video about how to season your chicken absolutely perfect, make it the best possible flavor. Okay, here's exactly how you cook it. Here's your thawing, here's your preparation, whatever. Making that where you're teaching somebody how to make exactly the most delicious, most perfect fried chicken. And now you're doing this over and over and over every day, giving different tips, showing somebody how to create the best possible piece of taste of chicken that they could possibly make. Now, also, you've got you're doing this at your chicken restaurant where that is what you serve. I am going to watch those videos. I might be bored at lunch break looking through those, and man, that sounds amazing. I do not want to go through all this work to do it myself. Are you kidding me? There's the restaurant's right down the street. Where are they going for chicken when they're hungry for chicken? It's going to be your shop.
Right.
But give away the secrets. I mean, there's too many people try to hoard the knowledge or the secret sauce. I mean, if you're doing good work and you're charging a reasonable price, solving a problem for somebody, and you solve it better than anybody else does, or if you're the most well known, there may be another chicken shop right down the restaurant, or I mean, right down the street there that makes an even better chicken sandwich that you do. But if you're the guy every day posting over and over all these different tips on how to make your chicken sandwich taste better than anybody else's, now when I get on there and I'm hungry at lunch, you're gonna be the shop that I go to, not the one down the street.
It's having about that mind space, isn't it? It's like I'm there right now in your mind the moment you think about chicken, for example.
Yep.
So whether I'm that great or not, it doesn't matter really. It matters that if I'm bringing in the work, I'm putting in consistency into my daily aspects.
And sharing your own journey rather than trying to figure out how to come up with content. If, for example, as a copywriter, if you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the trending hashtags, what's the trending audio, here's somebody's doing these viral things where they slide in on the floor and then they pop up and you're trying to figure out how to create that type of content. That's extremely difficult to do that. But if you're just documenting your journey, going, hey, this is Neeti, I'm just going to show you guys a quick tip on how to help your articles rank better. Now you start going through this as you're sharing the secret sauce is still going to get you business, and it shows that you're the expert when you're sharing tips that other people won't.
Awesome. So in terms of let's say the emerging trends in personal branding, what sort of answers do you have to that? It is an evolving space, right? So in terms of video content and real-time interactions that are picking up, where do you think is personal branding going?
Personal branding, even 50 years ago, 100 years ago, it's still, you look at the speakers that have been, Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and these different guys. Tony Robbins has been in this for years. Jack Canfield, some of these guys that have been in the speaking industry for years and years and years. They've been building a personal brand before social media was even a thing. But again, it's just using the platforms that are available at the time. With Tony Robbins, it was books, it was going and speaking at live events. But figure out whatever the platform is. I'm not a social media expert, but just figuring out how to solve a problem and how to reach the most people possible. The more people that know about you, the better chance you're going to have to sell somebody on whatever your service is.
So in terms of, any specific case studies that you'd like to talk about from your workings, in terms of anything that, you've created a major impact, which you really love about yourself, about your achievements as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I've got one client right now that we've been working with him for about 9 months. And this guy who is already successful, when he brings on a new client, it's a $25,000 fee that he's charging. So he's already successful, already making money. He brought us on to do some marketing for him and, did the personal branding. We featured him in Newswire magazine, got him on the Times Square New York billboard, featured him on the Amazon Fire TV interview, doing articles, search engine optimization stuff about him to get him ranked. We talked the other day. He said he's going to generate an additional $1.2 million in total revenue this year based on the work that we've done for him with the branding. So that's, again, if you're in a position where you know that you need to start building your brand, you need to put out more content, but you don't have time to sit down every single day and write articles. Get a hold of a company like Plush Inc., plush-inc.com. Talk to Neeti about having her create content for you. That's where paid media comes in, where you're paying somebody else who's already an expert, already top of their game, to do the work that you either don't have the time, or if you're, maybe you don't have the time or the experience, but if you could pay somebody to do the work that will generate more income or more return than if you could go out and do what you're actually doing right now, that's where you start hiring people.
Wow.
Hope that's okay, and that you can take on more clients, because I don't want to have you too flooded here if you can't handle anymore.
Right, absolutely. Now, this has been our strategy, one of our strategies for building up on our content business. But in terms of the podcast, it is picking up really well. And it is because of the guests that we're bringing in, like yourself. So really, really helpful. And the kind of nuggets that we're bringing on the table because of a guest like you, it is amazing. It's really helping our audiences become better at what they do. So as the host of your podcast of Success, Motivation and Inspiration, what are the memorable stories that you've had in terms of power of, leadership or perseverance, or some of the qualities that you feel have contributed to the long-term success in business and life for you?
That's a good question. So I haven't hosted a podcast in a few years now. I started out with a podcast, but as we grew, we're actually syndicated on Amazon Fire TV now. So it's actually a TV show. But either way, I got into it with the podcasting because I was living in the back of the store, living in the back of one of my retail stores, and just putting in the work, doing everything I could to try to get the brand out there, start becoming recognized and stuff. And then as that grew, I launched that first podcast when I was living in the back of one of my retail stores over on Orchard Mesa. Didn't have I was sleeping on a futon couch, like in the employee break room, for about 2.5 years. Because we were getting this built up. Didn't have a place to shower in the morning. So I'd jump up, go to the gym in the morning, shower, come back, put my suit on, fold up the futon bed so it didn't look like I'd stayed there that night. And then actually started the original podcast inside of the cell phone store. So I'd get up and it was a one-man talking head kind of a podcast where I'd get up, had a microphone that wasn't plugged into anything, recording on an old Android phone, but just giving tips on success and business and different stuff. And then as that took off, started interviewing leaders who are already very successful and having them share their insights on success. And now, if you're looking to be featured on Success, Motivation, Inspiration on the actual TV show, send me a message and we'll go through and really research you and share your story, share your insights on success.
Awesome. And that is how you bring in the expertise in terms of personal branding for people, to offering actual value in terms of featuring them in the show? Or is it something else that you also offer?
Yeah, so on the show, we have Newswire launched in 1997. I bought the company in 2018 when we still had the cell phone stores. And it's just been taken off since then. But we've been running the company. Any type of leaders, whether it's in sports or music or politics or whatever maybe you're a software provider, SaaS platform owner, whatever your service is, we'll do the interview where you get on, do the actual call, ask you questions, make sure that your message aligns with our audience. And then if everything's good, and you're not some type of shady, you'll hear a lot of times, like with coaches and consultants and stuff that are success coaches, that you look at their history, they have not done anything themselves to be successful except learn how to charge people to coach them. So we'll go through and do the background research. If that's a good person who's actually providing the solution that they say they are, then we'll give them the options on where you can be featured. But if you'd like to be featured, if you want to be featured on Newswire Magazine or Amazon Fire TV or any of those platforms, send me a message. You can just Google M. Curtis McCoy. Send me a message on any of your favorite platforms and we'll get connected.
Awesome. That sounds so good. And I think we are arriving at the last question now. How do you feel that, professionals in any arena can stay relevant today when there's so much of influx of social media, and how can they keep on growing their influence, because it's such a competitive landscape. So in terms of putting it all together, social, the personal, the meetups, the networking aspect, what do you think? Where are we going? Where are we heading?
So again, there's no way that you could be, if you're running a successful business and then trying to be active on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, say 10 different social platforms, if you're just hitting the popular ones, just doing that as a full-time job, trying to do your content creation. If you know every day you need to be posting a new article, new blog post, sending out an email blast, whatever that is, there's no way that you can do all that. So start hiring people once you've got to a point where you're successful enough by focusing on the things that you choose to focus on. So if you love LinkedIn, go all in, make sure you're putting out content every day on LinkedIn until you get to a point where you can hire somebody like Neeti or get in contact with me, and we'll get you as far as the paid media goes. But just focus on whatever you like, whatever platform you like the best. Start putting out good content, try to solve a problem for people, become known as the expert in that small niche, and it'll continue to grow.
Awesome. And just before I wind up, one more question. As far as the AI is concerned, there are a lot of people these days who are getting into podcasts and into the world of YouTube, by using a lot of AI, also in terms of voice modulations and in terms of having an image, which is everything can be done right now. So what do you feel in terms of that? Where are we heading in terms of industry, in terms of personal development, personal branding? I know coaches are irreplaceable in terms of what value we can offer, but in terms of how easy or how difficult it is becoming for other people, what are your nuggets on that?
So we've been using AI with Newswire magazine and our different platforms since 2016 or 17, before it was really publicly available or commercially available. But I'll give you a tip. If you're listening to this right now, are you okay if I give a tip that could benefit other podcast hosts that might be listening to your show?
Of course.
Okay. So if you are, let's say you're just getting your podcast started, the main thing that when you're seeing podcasts fall off, a massive percentage, the vast majority of podcasts never make it to their 20th episode. But if they do, you'll see some of them have struggled along for years and never end up making a profit. I was on a call with some guys the other day that were on their 100 and some odd episode. They've been doing this for quite a while, but they mentioned, man, the one guy had said, it takes a lot of time. We love this. We love the connections, but we're buying cameras, buying equipment, buying audio stuff, doing all this work, doing the editing. Both their wives are upset that they're spending all this time on their hobby. I said, well, is it paying you well? They're like, well, no. So, are you monetizing your podcast? We're really not sure how to do that. We don't have enough listeners yet to be able to turn on ads. So here's a tip. If you're in that position where you're starting your podcast, or maybe you're trying to figure out whether you should hang up your hat or not, make sure you've got a domain name that's, a relevant domain that you actually own. So rather than sending somebody to, hey, visit my podcast on Spotify.com, tell them go to yoursite.com/podcast. Mm-hmm. Now, as an actual guest, the big thing that separates the top tier podcast versus everybody else is and this is a quick and easy way you could do this. If you do your interview, so you've got your 2 or 3 people, however many on your interview, you load that video up to YouTube. Load it up in 4K if you can. You can upscale it if you're currently recording in 1080p, but upload in 4K because you get more reach. Then once that's done processing, say an hour later, you scroll down below your video and it'll say view transcript or show transcript. Click the show transcript button. That will pull up a little transcript on the top right-hand side of your screen. Click the button that says toggle timestamps. So turn off your timestamps. Now you copy that entire chat transcript into ChatGPT and say, format this video transcript with proper spelling, punctuation, grammar, and a single space after each punctuation mark. So now it's got it written out into more, actual legible language. Then your next prompt, tell it, review this transcript and write an article outline using H2 headers. So now you've got it goes through it, writes out the headings about each different section you talked about. Then you ask it, the next prompt would be to, using the article outline above, write a 2,000 word search engine optimized article about the guest name. So for this one, about M. Curtis McCoy, about that article. So now ChatGPT writes out this entire, say, couple thousand word article that's optimized for your guest name. So like on this one, if it was plush-inc/M. Curtis McCoy, now you've got that landing page, copy your URL, your YouTube link in the top of that page, then take that 2,000 word article, put it down below. Now you've got a page that, as far as search engine optimization goes, you would still need to tune it up and make it not sound like it was written by ChatGPT, but it's done all the work for you to create this whole article. Now you can add your call to action, you could add your coaching or your services or whatever it is, and start actually making money off of that individual post. I got a guy right now that's doing that. He's got basically just under $2,000 service. Now every podcast guest that comes on, if I'm a guest on his show, somebody's searching for my name, they end up finding his show that they weren't even looking for. They've got, because Google's seeing that's a relevant search engine optimized article. They get down at the bottom and there's a call to action to be able to be a guest on the show or buy his product. And now that guy's instantly monetized his show instead of hoping that someday YouTube or Spotify turns on the ads for him.
So, well, you have talked about some of the strategies that we are already implementing, and it's good that it can help other podcasters as well who are sort of getting into the game and still trying to test the waters. But it has been very interesting interviewing you, talking to you before the call as well, and lovely connecting with you. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and by the way, that's why I was mentioning other podcasters, because I saw you've got your calls to action, you've got the request to call, put your phone number up there. I mean, your site, Plush Inc., is really well laid out, looks great. And so that was not at all information for
definitely
for you.
Helpful. It's definitely helpful, and I intend to get on to larger. I mean, I want to scale it to larger levels, so I would be in touch with you, and we're going to take that offline. But
Awesome.
at the same time, I think it's been wonderful, the kind of knowledge that you've shared, because the kind of expertise that you have, it's quite evident in terms of what we are doing already in the content strategy, but you already have an existence of TV channel and stuff like that. So I'd be very keen to work on that aspect.
Awesome. Let's stay in contact. That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And and if everything goes well, then why not have some more episodes where we can share some more nuggets and help and collaborate.
I would love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Curtis. It's been lovely knowing you and connecting with you. It didn't feel like a connection for the first time, frankly.
What's that?
It didn't feel like as if I'm talking to you for the first time.
Oh, I got you. It's always good to connect with new friends on podcasts, huh?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neeti. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.